Hi, I'm Parker.
And I'm Tim.
And this is the Rage Podcast, where today we are going to talk about the famed verse, to love your neighbor.
Yeah, when they, if we asked you guys to pick out one verse that encapsulates Christianity, I bet most of you in our audience would probably come up with that one.
One that you've heard from probably since young Sunday school.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus kind of boiled down the whole important scheme of everything they're supposed to do into one sentence. So,
and now let's try to understand, what does love mean, first of all, because I think that's a term that it has too broad of a definition in the English language.
Yeah, we love all kind of things. We love cars and trees and fictional characters and family members. And
we all use the same word, love.
Yeah, it's all the same word, so it encapsulates a lot of things.
But a lot of people would say that to love, you have to always be making someone feel happy, making someone feel good, always being go-lucky and everything. Yeah. And that's kind of what the definition of love has become, is you don't ever want anyone to experience pain from what you do towards them.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's emotional pain, physical pain, everything like that.
We always want them to be happy and everything, and I'm not sure that's it.
That's not
I'm not
the
sure
case.
That's the definition. In fact, there is a behavior, though, that does result in what you're talking about, at least on the surface, and that's called enabling. And let me tell you something, folks. Enabling and loving are not the same thing. You can enable all kind of bad behavior, and if you love somebody, love is going to mean you're going to want what's best for them. And clearly, if they're engaging in destructive behavior,
it's not loving to continue.
Right.
It's not loving to continue to give to someone who is all the forms of addiction that are out there. It's not good to give an alcoholic 10 bottles of whatever.
Right.
Okay, that's obviously not a loving thing to do, and that's a broad example to where we can obviously realize, yes, that is not what a loving neighbor would do in that circumstance.
Right.
But break it down even to the small little things. Into how
which you encounter a lot more often.
Yes, which are a lot more often than anything else. And how many of us follow that love your neighbor guidelines and say, well, maybe
wanting what's best for them, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even in spite of them, sometimes. To want them to be better, to want them to grow, to want them to develop, to want them to have compassion and things like that. Do we expect that out of the people that we claim to love? We should.
That's what loving.
That's what love is.
A loving person would do. Yeah. A loving person wouldn't give bring a chocolate sugary cake to the diabetic.
to the Weight Watchers class.
Or something like, it's like, here you go.
Even though those people probably want it more than anybody.
I mean, that's clearly not what we should do, but when someone says, hey, I want to do this, or hey, I want to do that,
yes,
on the daily we get asked questions from people like those questions asked.
Yeah.
And if we're not really thinking it through, and always like, well, this person would really like it if I would say yes.
It would make them happy.
And that's not what on any level of what the term loving means in this passage.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people get that confused, and a lot of people will say, well, you're not loving because you hurt my feelings by telling me I should eat that chocolate cake.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I can't do exactly what I want, be what I want, believe what I want, say what I want. You put some kind of expectations and constraints on me, and therefore you don't love me. And I would contend it's exactly the opposite is the case. If you have somebody you have no expectations of, I have no belief whatsoever that you're ever going to amount to anything.
Yeah.
Therefore, I have no expectation. That's not loving. In fact, that's terrible.
And now let's use this. Talk about this example. Okay,
yeah.
Someone who comes to church, and there may be only Sunday morning type of involved person. Okay, and somebody else, and they're sharing a story about what they did this weekend, and someone responds, you maybe need a little bit more Jesus. Okay, okay, and then that person takes that as such a, how dare you say that to me? And that person now says, this church is an unloving, person who follows the greatest command of love your neighbor. They do not do it here because they told me I maybe shouldn't be doing certain things on the weekends.
Yep.
Okay? And that example happens.
And some of you may be laughing what Parker said. I actually
happens
had
all
this
the
conversation.
time. Yes.
Okay, I've had this conversation with people, and it happens, so it's real. Go ahead.
Yes. So, I mean, when that is how some people just interpretate that verse as saying, a loving person wouldn't tell me I shouldn't be doing this. Blah, blah, blah. That is such a dark and scary rabbit hole that we have
Yes.
gone.
Yes,
And we
it is.
have I mean, churches. The church itself has gone down this rabbit hole to where we can no longer help build up and love the congregation
And
our
expect them
community
to
and
grow,
everything,
and expect them
grow
to
because
be Christ-like, yeah.
because it is almost like you are. I mean, it's like you're the biggest evildoer of all if you dare say maybe we shouldn't be doing that in some,
Or I don't tell you exactly what you want to hear, when you want to hear it, the way you want it said. I mean, all those things.
And is that what Jesus did at all? Like
Never.
the woman at the well was. Obviously, Jesus was very loving in that circumstance. Jesus obviously opened up that woman's eyes in an incredible way. But was it when we read that passage? Was that necessarily the really loving thing? If that was happening in this society,
he said, "Go your way and sin no more."
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, go your way and sin no more. And then
Yeah.
everyone loves to use the term, "Nobody's perfect. Nobody's
Yeah.
perfect." Well, it still doesn't mean we shouldn't be. We should try to avoid the sin at all
just
costs.
give up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the alternative.
No,
we just
yeah,
give
but
up.
that- I mean-
we're not going to make this the perfect standard. Therefore, it doesn't matter. And if you want to say anything about anything that I'm doing or put any restraints on me whatsoever, that's not being loving. Well, my example is how many 11-year-olds would you allow to make 100% of all their choices, no matter what, and expect that to work out well? And if you say, "Oh, I would do that," then clearly you're 11 right now. Yeah, because there's no way that would turn out well. They would either end up injured, sick, or lost,
Yeah.
where we couldn't find them.
So let's. I mean, like, look at some of the examples, and I mean, here's just a few from that I know me and Tim at least can relate to. As the church, and some of the people that work here, and Tim being the pastor, it is his. He does loving actions to the congregation, to the the people who come to this church, by putting on events, by putting in effort in what he does on Sunday mornings and throughout the rest of the week, from visitations and everything else that he does. It's his job, but he does, I would say, a good job at everything that he does because he has love for the people, his neighbors, for the people he is with.
Well, that's what the motivating factor is. But I got to tell you though, and a lot of you who are watching this may attest to this. My motivation though is never to make you happy. If you're happy, I'm glad.
Yeah.
But that's not my motivation, because a lot of things that show love don't make people happy. When I have to do some of the stuff that Parker was talking about, and put up standards or preach a sermon that I know is not going to go over, or try
That isn't going to make you feel happy.
Yeah, it's going to make you feel happy, and those things happen. Not every Sunday, but for me to just go around and just say whatever your itching ears want to hear, that's not being helpful. In the same way, your parents doing that to you would not be helpful. It would not be beneficial, and it certainly wouldn't be healthy. And so sometimes being loving is actually going to have to upset the person. And we've all been there. I've had people that way to me. I've had to be that way for people.
And it's not like every time you do. I mean, I'm sure there are some people out there who'd be like, "Yes, I do need to change." It's not always an attack, but it's becoming more and more and more that it's always feeling like someone is threatened by us, by the church, by anyone, just a Christian themselves, by saying, "Hey, maybe we should not try to avoid this or try to stop doing this." Because it's not that. Because people say, "Oh, that's not loving. That's not loving at all."
Well, I think about the people in my life who have had the most profound impact on who I am today. Are the people who were the hardest on me at first. Coaches and teachers and professors I had and things. Had great expectations and really pounded that into my head. And I strove to reach the standard that I knew they had for me. And for them not to do that to me, I would have fallen short of my potential. I haven't realized my potential yet, but I wouldn't be as close to it as I am now without them pushing me along. Did I always like it? I can promise you I did not. But that's the only way I am here now. And I think if we define love as just making you happy and feel good all the time, that's not being helpful. And it's not being... It's not going to help you reach the potential of what you could be. All you're going to end up being is whatever it is you want to default to. And that's not a standard high enough for any person.
And so maybe some of you out there who are listening to this and or listening to this video or whatnot are thinking, well, now I'm trying to figure out what can I do to show love to some of those people who maybe I have enabled in life and everything. And so I'm just going to be, since I'm kind of
or hang on, let me caveat it. Or do the second part of the verse, which implies that you love yourself. How do I take care of myself? we're about to give you a few options for that.
So obviously, this will be posted on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about what's going on our Facebook page, we have an event every Wednesday called Second Sunday, where we give you a meal. Okay.
Yeah, we feed you physically.
A meal made by Joyce Koenig, which is always
Top
amazing.
tier meal. Yes.
And then we it's just a time of fellowship. Me and Tim and a couple other people. We'll there and we'll sit, chat, talk, see how the week's going. Just an hour of fellowship.
Yep.
And
We
just
have events for youth.
Yes.
Have events for kids going on, and
adult small group
adult
classes,
small group
which
pick up
are
after that.
open all the time. Feel
All the time
free to
anybody.
join them.
Yeah, even if you've not been in one yet, just come on out and nurture yourself. Because again, if you don't challenge yourself to do something different, then you're not going to grow. I mean, one of the things they always told me in all the years of sports and stuff that I played was that in order to get something you never got, you have to do something you've never done. And so if you want to push yourself out of that, and again, I'm not talking about you come here, we're going to yell at you like a drill sergeant in the Army.
No, yeah, me and Tim are not going to say you're going to hell because you got a second portion of mac and cheese.
I mean, unless I didn't get any, then we might have to think about that. But the idea is that we want to give you a chance to connect to community and be held accountable and read some books and have some conversation to develop your mind,
into a
develop your
healthy
heart.
community.
Sure,
Yeah.
be a part of a healthy community and those kind of things. And Second Sunday does provide that opportunity. So if you want to actually practice this love your neighbor as yourself, as is always being thrown in our face, the best way you can do that is be present and let's figure out together what that means. In conversation, dialogue, prayer, discernment, all these things.
And a lot of us know a lot of people who would really benefit from something like Second Sunday. I know a lot of people. I know I benefit every Sunday from Second Sunday. From every Wednesday from Second Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just such a time of, I get to do one of my favorite parts of my job. Get to see people have a good time from what the church is providing for them.
Serve the meal and see families sitting around tables. That's what we're inviting you to.
It's a sit down family meal.
Yeah.
Just even seeing that, it's great. And so we're giving you the information.
Yeah.
And now here's what I would also encourage: give someone else the information.
Yeah.
Share. We might know somebody. I know a lot of people who could really enjoy a Second Sunday that we offer, and invite somebody.
We gather here at 5:30 on Wednesday nights. That's when we kind of start serving supper and things, and then the kids will break out at 6, and the adult small group start at 6:30. That's intentional. So you adults have a half an hour to catch your breath. And with the kids occupied,
chat,
and sit and chat,
discuss your week. There's tons. It's just
build relationships, make a new friend. And,
it's a time of fellowship.
Yeah.
It's a great time of fellowship and to build friendships and to build church relations and connections.
Because
and everything.
one thing you can't do, we can talk about what love is and what it isn't. We've had a pretty thorough conversation on that. But one thing you can't do is you cannot love separated. That's impossible.
Oh no.
And so what we're doing is we're giving you a chance to be together and to practice some of those things. To love your neighbor as yourself while you're here. And that's just one example of a very specific way that we would like to do that. And that's an opportunity we're offering to you. And would absolutely love to see some of you take us up on that.
Yeah.
So, and one other thing I forgot to mention. Not only during that time, the choir has also picked back up. They have practice at 7 o'clock during the thing. So if you want to come even to a little bit of a small group before, have supper with us, come for a little bit of a small group, and we'll get you out so you can head down to the choir room. That's even great.
Yeah.
We just want to see people here.
We would love. I think. The old saying goes. Well, it's not an old saying, but the metaphor that I hear often is, it's great to be in a place full of good people, and I think that's what we're offering.
That's what we're building.
And that's what we're. Just get to do something on a Wednesday night other than sit at home and watch the news for Lord's sake. Come on, no one wants to do that.
Yeah, literally anything can be better than that. So,
it's for everyone. Age is not a matter. Everyone.
Yeah, there's something here for every age group. Yeah.
It is, and it's open for everyone. It is a free meal for everyone.
Yep.
The event is for everyone of all ages.
Yep. So we're just inviting you to come and love your neighbor and yourself through being nurtured physically, nurtured spiritually, nurtured socially, right here at Wayne Street. 5:30 on Wednesday nights, and we're here for 2 hours. That's all we're asking for. So. Come out for Second Sunday. We hope that you'll join us. I know Parker puts in a lot of work getting these things together. We got a couple great teachers. Dawn is upstairs with the youth. Jess is downstairs with the kids, and it's just a great time Just
for
come
the
out.
whole family.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, it's
Be
for
part of it.
everyone. Yeah.
So, we hope to see you there, and we will save you a seat. And if you get there early enough, there'll even be some Joyce Koenig food left, and that's really the best offer we can give you. So, have a great week, everybody.